This is iRacing.
A circuit that meant the world back in the 1950s as one of the important tracks to go and get racing happening. That, once upon a time, was the Magdalena Mishūka. But as this circuit has fallen out of favor, jumped back into favor, fallen out and jumped back in again, it is firmly part of the modern psyche of circuits around the world and is one that is often underrated for what it brings as a challenge. In a historic context, we're running a layout with a full Peraltada, with one chance to say we will go around that baseball stadium and not through it. Welcome to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez and round 3 of your IMSA Vintage series here on the Global SimRacing Channel. My name's Jake Sperry. Along with me for today's ride, as per usual, is Craig King, with Christian Deploy jumping in today in the director's chair. Dougie Beard provides the cameras here as part of a Genesis Extreme production, but a circuit that pretty much says it is the toughest circuit. It is also the circuit of the highest altitude. So what a better way to bring us to lofty heights with your GSRC track guide.
Welcome to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Located in the Magdalena Mishūka sports city in the southeastern region of Mexico City, this track really is an urban affair. Situated among one of the largest cities in the world, it tends to draw in unbelievably large crowds of race fans. The full 2.67 mile or 4.3 kilometer Grand Prix course can be split up in numerous ways, making for 7 fully distinct raceable layouts. It includes everything from an oval to an EV course, making it malleable to a wide variety of types of cars. In fact, the track has hosted not only top-end open-wheelers, but NASCAR, sports cars, and motorcycle racing over its history. That history began back in 1959 when construction was completed, but has since gone through multiple changes to reach its current look. One of the defining features that hasn't changed much over the years is the immensely long front stretch. However, a newer addition which first cropped up in the early 2000s is the Foro Sol Stadium section. This not only offers a safer option for higher-powered cars to bypass half of the Peraltada, it creates a unique atmosphere in which tens of thousands of fans can cheer on their favorite drivers with spectacular views. But our history buffs need not fear. The 180-degree Peraltada can still be raced in a few of the layouts on iRacing, recapturing its fearsome speeds and challenge. All in all, this place has a little bit of something for everyone. No wonder the Mexican fans come out in droves when motorsports come into town.
A circuit that brings so much about it in its battleground, but one where 2 great passing zones are found today into the Moises Solana of 1, 2, and 3, and then into turn 4, which will prove to be a little bit tougher of a move to get done. But Craig, this is going to feel very much like a bull ring the way this circuit is today.
Yeah, and I think this is the circuit that I feel is the best for this sort of series for multiclass, just because of that long straight now, instead of going into the stadium section, the Foro Sol, as they say. That's going to help as well. You don't have the Riverside S's and the fork at the end of the track. At turn 4, you said you've got a winding, quick right-hander hairpin that allows the drivers to also have another chance of overtaking, but very quickly straight to the S's. So maybe see some multi-class escapades there, but also the Peraltada, the final corners. It's an oval, or it used to be an oval, Jake. When they relayed this track, the banking was too much. So now the banking is sort of like, I would say, New Hampshire or Martinsville. There's a banking there. You can't see it, but you feel it. That's going to be important because for multi-class, the inside line the Audis have to take, we may see a couple crashes there.
We very much may do. It's all about holding your nerve around that long Peraltada corner at the end of the lap. So keep that in focus after what was some brilliant racing around Interlagos 1 week ago. Let's talk championship standings then and how everyone is going to stack up going into this. Aldrius Valenteus is in charge of GTP, but will use a drop today as he is not here. Gabri Martinez currently second in the championship, with Jacob Reed a point back of that in third. It then follows with Laust Olsen and Christopher Lenejak. Davide Riccardi is 6th overall ahead of Shadi Ahmad, with Matthew Cockerham and Jack David Spickett 8th and 9th. Your top 10 rounded out by the fast Ferran Grau, as we will go over to GTO, which proves to be, again, another interesting battleground.
Yeah, Noah Lundberg had the perfect 50 at the moment. He's 2 from 2. But right behind, just look how close it is between Quintelis and Van Hicks. Both of them having a real tight battle. We always say the start of the season for GTO's very tight, and really, you could put a blanket over everybody and they'd be close together. There is just 4 points between Cortesalo in 4th to Bello in 9th, and then 4 points behind is Timothy Reed in 10th. So while it's early days, a couple of those drivers, Cal Young and Alex Ott, no second race recorded. They've already taken 1 drop. That's going to be interesting when we come later into the season.
It very much will do, so keep an eye out on that as far as the GTO standings are going to be held. So that will keep things in mind. Now, 40 minutes is all they'll have here today up in the dizzying heights of Mexico City. They will know that they'll have an open setup to play with to make their car as fast as possible, and it will be very much needed today with the power reduction that comes along from being so high up in altitude. There is no spare car to save them if they get involved in any form of contact, and there are drive-through penalty points coming through at 17 incident points, and instead of additional penalties, I do believe we are on full disqualification at 25 incident points here today for racing action. So keep that in mind as they will look to try and tackle this circuit outright. We'll go down live here to qualifying, which is underway, which is 4 minutes through. It's 8 minutes of charging. So the first laps will soon about to find themselves on board. There is Jacob Reed dancing his way about and looking for those times on his second lap behind Gabri Martinez and Raul Roses, who are first and second. The Spaniards doing well. Now on the run from the Recta del Valle over towards the Peraltada. Look at how it pinches on entry here, Craig.
Pinches on entry, and then they keep tighter, and different cars take this differently, and the finish line is right at the start. That is a statement maker there for Jacob Reed. But that's an interesting line, because look at Gardia. He just washes out a little bit in the middle. What has Raul Roches Gardia got as well? He'll come across the line. It's quicker, but it's not quick enough to change his position. I mean, the eyes would be on to Gabri Martinez. He's already done his laps. Johan Van Hicks also going around. He wants to find a good time, and just from all of us here in the booth today, sending some commiserations, of course, to Johan and his family with the news they heard earlier this week. We're all thinking of you. We're hoping that everything turns out okay.
Well, we'll see whether this is going to be a big lap from Joran Van Hicks, who has started a little slowly over the course of this season. 1:16.8 goes third. Mickey Friesen in charge of the GTOs. And we do need to talk about this, as there is the band of others number 2 here today of Noel Lundberg trying to work out of turn 3 and over now along the Transera over to turn number 4. The key here is that you've only got a selection of GTPs today. You've only got 11. Everything else is a GTO, and that's going to make this field really interesting to note.
11 GTPs, 18 GTOs for the third week in a row. The series broadcast had a split, and some drivers would have preferred the 5 cars. I think they're going to be happy with a smaller field, but that's going to be a lot of issues for the GTPs, because less GTPs is fine, but they've got to get through all the GTOs, and we know that this group of GTOs, they will just stay bunched up together, and you see the different lines here. The GTOs, they wash out a little bit in the middle of the final 2 corners here, and then Lundberg wants to try and get down. This is his first lap, and straight away he's right there, 4,000th behind Jack Wells in P2.
Yeah, so 4,000ths of a second only isn't actually that much. So he's right there in the wheelhouse with a final lap to go, and he will have time because there's only 76 seconds to put the time in. Ferran Grau, by the way, has gone third overall, the Andorran. As here comes Alex Ott over towards the line and pushing, and it's a 16.6 That's good enough for the front row, but Mickey Friesen still has it scouted by just 100th at the moment, as here comes Carlos Peralta in the mock-ups Calsonic Nissan.
A Calsonic Nissan on a Nissan GTP. I'll accept that by all means. I like Alex Ott need a bit of divine intervention. Need to get that push. That'd be an interesting start for the GTOs. What can the last GTP do? Well, he's going to do nothing. He just went into the wall. He turned in too early, and that's going to be an interesting point here, Jake. Is with all this downforce these cars are having, we may see that a bit more. The drivers turning in too much. GTOs don't have to worry about turning in too much. They may be sliding. What can Lundberg do? He needs to find a 10th. That sounds crazy. He's only 4th. He's a 10th behind the leader of Mickey Friesen. What can he find? It's good. Only for 3rd.
Good for 3rd only. So we'll keep an eye out as they charge. They will go for 11 only in GTP. Jacob Reed, a statement with a 107.354. It's Gabri Martinez who's alongside him on that front row. Ferran Grau will see Raul Rosses alongside for company, as Henning Schwebig and Shadi Ahmad will be in 5th and 6th. Seamus Power will go from 7th position, about a second off the pace. Timothy Vaughan, the Kiwi, alongside him, as Javi Mosquera starts 9th and Brendan Lim is 10th. The final car in this field for GTP is Carlos Peralta. Gives me a good chance for a break as Craig King runs through all of GTO.
I got this. I got the microphone. Don't you worry, because for the GTOs, Mickey Friesen, his feet are dry and the car is hot. He's pole position by 9 thousandths to Alex Ott today, who's in P2, and then Noel Lundberg, who is the number 2 car today, which is something you rarely see out here. He'll be in 3rd. Jack Wells with his GTO campaign now in 4th. Johan Van Hicks will be 5th, and Cal Young will be 6th. Josh Brain will take 7th, and Javier Del Olmo returns into 8th. Ika Costa Salo will be 9th, and Arturas Kundelis, the number 6 car, is in 10th. When we get to the second page, Linus Petrovicus will be in 11th, with Taylor Benat in 12th. And then it's Roman Bello in 13th. Josephine Becker said she had a terrible qualifying. She'll be in 14th. Timothy Reed will be in 15th. Ian Haycox in 16th. Fabian Jumlup will be in 17th. And Silver Jovert will be the last man on the grid. Every GTO qualified. One non-qualified today, and it was Carlos Peralta.
So Peralta, by measure of metric of not qualifying in GTP, doesn't have to start in 30th position, or rather will take 11th on the grid and will be on the back of the GTPs as they get themselves set. Let's take a look at today's weather. Partly cloudy conditions, wind, not much of it from the northeast, and it's just a 21 degree air temperature, but that track temperature is interesting, 92 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. So you would say probably in the egg breaking or the egg frying to dog walking scale, in the middle. You can do either or.
I would like to just walk the dog. It would just give me a little bit more exercise, and I think that's what these drivers will probably want. They don't want to be worrying about what happens if they overcook the egg today, because they got tires they're going to have to maintain out here today. So that's going to be one to work for. And look at this long straight, and I do wonder, we've seen it in a couple of the races so far this season. Well, we only had 2 races this season. These are a long straight. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little game of chicken here, and whoever's leading a pack out to the final corner, I think they might just lift and get the slipstream and retake the lead by the time they come to the S's here.
Yeah, this is where it's about timing the run more rather than it is today of giving a great opportunity and just going for it and seeing what sticks. If you can pick up the run out of the Peraltada, because it's a medium speed corner, if there is any form of understeer, you're picking the run up immediately off the exit. If there's any form of oversteer, Craig, then you are going to also have that ability to catch it quickly. I don't think that if you get a perfect run, it's going to be as easy as you think it's going to be today.
No, I do wonder that. And another thing we've got to think about is with this reduced power, we've also then got to talk about what power does the slipstream have today, because we know sometimes in the GTPs, the moment you pull out of that slipstream, it's like hitting a brick wall. If you're trimmed out, you're hitting a brick wall, and that speed just goes in an instant. So pulling out of a train could be very interesting today. So we may not even see a lot of side-by-sides unless they get even on the exit. competitor. It may just be that someone just has to make a late lunge. And, well, we've seen it in F1. Yes, it's there at the start of the lap. Anything can happen, even free wide.
It absolutely can, and what will be alert to me is how the downforce levels are for this SS section. This will tell the difference between who can and cannot get the result that they require through this section. You take a little look through the fence at these cars all piloting by and getting themselves set and ready. Now, a couple drivers couldn't even make it past turn 0 out there on the start of the lap as they got themselves set and ready, but they know they've got one corner left behind the Porsche iRacing first safety car, and that will get themselves set up and ready behind Jacob Reed, the data scientist over from Worcestershire in England. He will be the one that everyone will try and get a leapfrog with. Gabriel Martinez alongside him, then Ferran Grau, then Raul Rosses. Into the pits everyone goes. Henning Schwebig in 5th position. Keep an eye on him. Jacob Reed gets the launch and gets the launch down early. We're underway, and Gabriel a little slow to the dance now. Here comes the run, and immediately look at GTO. They are flying behind as they make their way to the Moises Solana for the first time. On the brakes, it will be a battle, and it is going to be Raul Rosses who will see there the contact between Grau and, of course, Gabriel Martinez, but it is crucially Ferran Grau clear, and backward goes a couple.
Backward goes a lot of them, and I think it was Javier Del Olmo just getting caught on the braking by Jack Wells. I see a lot of drivers. It was Noel Lundberg getting tagged as well. I think Cal Young got a little bit of a tap, saved the car, but then unfortunately clipped the back there. Lundberg, Becker, Del Olmo, Ott already got it. It was Ott, sorry, not Cal Young. Mickey Friesen with a new setup and a new look and a new drive holds on to that lead.
Same old Bane, though, covering up his face a bit as he gets himself ready, and now trying to cover up then at the front of this field. What a start for Joram van Hicks, as he knows how critical it was to get a good launch from 6th to 2nd, as Gabri does everything he can to hold ahead. Jacob Reed's already 2 seconds down the road in the top right of your screen, but now they go all the way over to the right hand side. There's a small kink in this straight, and now everyone's trying to fan out and get room. Now on the side drive, side by side, Gabri doesn't want to give this one up. On the inside line, Ferran early onto the brakes, trying to cut him up. Then for 2 and 3, nowhere to go. Same for Henning Schwebig, who gets pushed out wide. Shadi Ahmad now tiptoes around the outside, and Seamus Powell will try and follow.
Jacob Reed's got a little bit of a slowdown in the front. That's not a problem at the moment, and you can see the driver's going really bit late lunge, and the smoke almost hot paper from there. Ferran going a bit too aggressive. I know there's a little bit of history with those two, and I think Ferran a little bit getting out to tap Brendan Lim with a very, and I've got to say it, that was not a proper rejoin.
No, you've got to be careful because you know you're going to be down on speed. You've got to get it back up to pace. And Ferran Grau just found himself understeering with no speed through the middle of the corner. So easily done when you're not up to speed. And then it's just trouble straight the entire way through. Brendan Lim, in front of everyone, trying to get back on. That's an even worse rejoin than Ferran's, I have to say it. But just like that, that has put a big scare through that main field. The skill of those drivers at the front of GTO, able to stay out of the way.
That, I got to say, that was a very questionable decision. We know that there's a lot of tarmac here. We know that he's trying to nurse the car back, but he needs to just be a bit more aware. And hot things happen. You want to try and just get driving again. I can understand that. Like Alex Ott, he's down into 13th, and this is a tough field. He's already 7 seconds behind the leaders, and he's still in the train. It's an elongated train. I think only between 8th and 9th, that's Linus and Jofert. That's where the elastic band is snapped. But apart from that, everybody's together here.
Yeah, all the way back to the likes of Petka Vicious. Are you starting to see the dangers out there of where you need to be? You've got to hold yourself in the groups, and turn 4 today has proven to be the toughest. But let's talk the start, because a massive chain reaction. Noel Lundberg getting caught up, you don't see. So it was 4 wide, a turn across the nose, and look at it, it is bowling as you go down in. Ott gets taken out, Lundberg gets taken out by it as well. Javi Del Olmo turned across the nose. On long drag races and long start-finish straights, Craig, you have to leave the room. You cannot bite off more than you can chew.
And all of that started because Jack missed a shift on the start. It was a very delayed start for the GTOs, and looked like it was Jack, who unfortunately, I might be wrong, I might be getting another driver. No, it was unfortunate. It was the Beast Racing of Jack Wells, who had a bit of an issue on the start, and that just caused that whole spanning out there that allowed Van Hick to go up 3 places, Cal Young to go up 3 places, and then cause that chaos. You've got to be alert. Unfortunately, spotters don't tell you you're 4 wide. They say you're 2 wide, though, and Ian Haycock's decide it's not worth the fight. But even then, he lifts, Jake, and they're not even at the braking zone yet. That is how long this straight is.
Yeah, and if you find yourself lifting quite a lot, you can save a lot of fuel, and some might decide that they're going to lift out and do a bit more. Timothy Vaughan, the Kiwi in New Zealand colours there of the black and the white, trying to deal with Seamus Power as Jacob Reed puts a 108.4 down as fastest lap of the race, and we'll now see this main straight as a place where passing can happen. Over 285 kilometers an hour on this straight. We'll now need to look over to the inside on the right, fighting hard for the apex here. Room given on that outside, but it will compromise the line here from Power, going through this section as Van Hicks trying to go around the outside of the peril Tarda to get it done. There'll be another look at turn 4 here for Timothy Vaughan. Here, this tough right-hander, which not many people run National Historic, so they don't know how quick to take this. Just 100 clicks through the corner. It's done. Now we'll go back over to GTO because Urim is looking to get the race lead, and that is a lovely, well-worked ability to get it done. Cal Young now watching, but Mickey ain't done. Mickey trying to fight on the outside.
Yeah, you can make a move work on the outside there, just with the way how open the first part of the S's are there. But then that second part, as we saw with Seamus Power, it tightens up pretty quickly. And I think that just holds a lot of issues for the drivers. Gundalis there, he's pulled off just slightly to one side. He's having to serve a slowdown. He did have the fastest lap last time, and it just goes to show how quick this train is going. But look right behind, Friesen losing out. Cal Young absolutely on the back right now. You're also seeing Fabian Jungluv try to make some moves around the outside of the start of the S's there for Fabian, on Alex Ott. Some real good driving. We don't expect to see battling through the S's. That's a single file line.
And Craig, here's the bit that's going to start worrying drivers next. Jacob Reed's about to catch this group in the next lap or so. Lundberg now trying to recover back through and dive down the inside. Will comfortably dispatch the pass of Timothy Reed there. Josh Brain in the Momo car. So gets that one done, and Noel is looking to try and charge back up. Now here comes Alex Ott again.
Yeah, Alex has got a good run. I think he got the run over Bello more than, because Bello should have the slipstream, but can't do anything. And you just see as well, you'll see in a moment Josh Brain got a little bit of damage there in that Momo car. So I do wonder if that's going to be hindering him later in the race. But on the straight, it really is struggling. But you mentioned it, Jake. Jacob Reed is in the traffic. Josephine Becker's a back marker, and he's about to hit them with 4 seconds. Is there going to be moved by Noel Lundberg here? I do wonder. This is actually opened up, and this has been a surprising overtaking corner, Jake, because the inside is not the line you take, but it's worked, but just around the outside. No, that's an off track, surely. That's an off track, surely. If not, and he's holding on to this.
Well, he's trying what he can, and there goes Ian. Got to go sliding about there through the S's, and will rejoin with pace. Here comes Jacob Reed to the party. He'll go flying by them, and will now be trying to pick it up. And instead of 7 in a line, this has actually been really useful for Jacob Reed here, as he will now go the long way around, almost into the wall. He rides the wall. Actually, he has a little bit of Chastain about it as he glances against the wall.
Yeah, but there's a lot of damage to that wing now. Now, what damage has it got? It's all superficial paintwork at the moment. Nothing, no damages to the wings or the aero or anything, but he can't do that again. I think he didn't realize how wide the GTOs have to take the Pelotauda at the end there, because it looked like he was giving room, and then almost, I would say, maybe caught on the marbles out there.
So easily done, and you just have that lack of grip when you're not on the racing line, and they're not going to be taking different lines through that corner, so that makes it tough. And now you see the likes of Gabri Martinez and Raul Rosses try and go through. This is tougher for Gabriel Martinez. Needs to pick up a run off the exit and just deal with them one at a time. Each and every single corner, you're trying to think. A look from the rear, top right from Alex. Oh, there's contact. Gabriel Martinez, round goes Josh Bray.
Yeah, and I don't think he realized that the big difference is Guardia having to take a evasive reaction there. Josh is on the radio right away. He's not happy. That was Gabri not understanding the situation, because these are not cars with the downforce. They have to slow down through the S's, and I think he just got caught out there. Didn't even have a chance to hit the brakes there for Gabri. What damage is on the back front of that car? He's got some scrape marks as well. Shouldn't affect the downforce. He has apologized, and all due fairness, just a mistake for drivers unaware of this track.
Yeah, it's so tight through the S's section. It is single file, and you're making multi-class cars go through it. That makes it tough, as there are dives aplenty now down in Shadi Ahmad, having to get the clearance here just ahead of Roman Bello, side by side. Timothy Vaughan trying to pick the pocket, and round goes Vaughan. Bang! 3 GTPs into each other. Vaughan gets dumped by Henning Schwebig, and Seamus Power will now take a couple places for absolutely nothing. Here's another beast racing car. It's Jack Wells.
Yeah, Jack Wells battling on. Now, remember what I was saying earlier, Jake, about how the final part of the S's there, the Moisolana, how it tightens up and it basically closes the line? That's what happened there. And Henning thought, I've still got a chance. And he went into a door that was always closing. In fact, I don't think it was a door anymore. I think the brick wall was being installed and the door was ripped out. That's how much it was. I'm just watching Gabriel Martinez, just also Chastain, is well around here as he just goes on by on Kundalis as well. So a very interesting moment there. Within the space of 2 laps, we've had a lot of carnage in just 10 GTPs.
I know, and it's only been 10 minutes of racing, and already you're seeing how tough it is. Arturas Kundelis in the national colours of light green for Lithuania as part of the classic rules that they run with colour. He now allows everyone to go through the space there. He's there with Jack Wells trying to launch back up to the trio of Cal Young, of the likes of Mickey Friesen, Joran van Hicks, a battle of the English-speaking world. And there's the pit coming from Mickey Friesen, trying to get down the inside of Joran van Hicks. Isn't going to quite get there. Jack Wells had a little look as well, trying to get it done at turn 4 off of the Transera. Doesn't quite make that happen, but it's all about the leader here. And Shadley Ahmad is in a hornet's nest, trying to find a way through all of this. He'll be about equal speed, but now on the Recta del Valle will get the chance to get the speed up.
Yeah, but the problem is he won't be able to do this. He'll have to go around the outside, and he realized it. Real good heads up there just to have that moment to realize, okay, I have to go around the outside. You're seeing Alex Ott battling Jofert right in the background in the picture there, making him move through the final corner. That's something I wasn't expecting. This is something we were expecting. Van Hicks has decided it's not worth the fight, and Mickey is back in the lead. They're going to be trading a lot in. Mickey, I got to say, very interesting angle, but if that's what's comfortable to you, that's what's comfortable around the outside for Van Hicks. It tightens up, remember, and they are going to touch. They are going to touch, and real good work there by all the drivers.
Oh, one behind's going to go, and I think it's Ilka Cotasalo. No, it's not. It's Jack Wells, who finds himself dumped in the back then as Seamus Power makes all the progress through. Still side by side for GTO lead, and Mickey on the inside finally gets the pass back into the lead. Almost a chance to fight straight back at turn 5, starting the S's, but now Kundelis has got a chance because Cal Young's got a slow down penalty, and very cheekily he gets it served by jumping off the road again, and there's nowhere to go, and again he's going to jump off the road. Here is Cal Young, so this is very awkward now between them at this moment in time. Cal Young with a slow down. Noel Lundberg's got one as well, but critically through goes both Kundelis and Cotasalo.
Yeah, I think Cal also just lost control of the car a little bit and went on the out there, and Henning Schwebig now getting caught. Tell you what, that's going to be an interesting talk in the Beast Racing. Henning Schwebig taking out Jack Wells as well in that moment that we saw. Could be very interesting. Let's have a quick look of well, hang on, let's just see what's happening here with the replay here. This is Jofert, and whoa, that is somebody not realizing someone's braking a little bit differently to everybody.
Was that Fabian Youngbluth there who may have got into the back of him? It looked very much like it,
yes,
as he went through. So Fabian Youngbluth got it wrong. Cal Young then holds the move back through on Cotasalo, but he'll get the run now over on the Transera. Timothy Vaughan will cut this one up, though, as he'll lunge to the inside. He'll get one, he'll get two, and he'll dive down the inside here if he's careful enough, as they'll hold similar speeds through the corner. Yep, gets the clearance then on Arturus Candelas. But that for Fabian Youngbluth, very rare to see an instant like that on the straight.
Yeah, very well. Let's watch this again. He's going to be braking. Is this hardware fail? Is he just not paying? There's something must have happened there, Jake, because that looks to me like just a lapse in concentration. There's enough time to see the drivers hitting the brakes there. Sorry it happened there for Fabian to lose concentration. And whoa! No! Candelas in the wall! Candelas in the wall from Mosquera.
Javi Mosquera tried to dive three down the inside. There's another one. Bang! I think that's Alex Ott who's got into it.
Yeah, Alex Ott. Alex Ott got caught in that as well. He's got massive damage on the front, and he's going to have to try and be careful.
Bang!
It's bang again. Another one. Another one. And Alex finally gets the tow. Was that Timothy Reed? Timothy Reed took a separate tow. That was somebody else. I didn't see who it was. Yeah, it was Timothy Reed. Sorry.
So Alex Ott, with nowhere to go, found someone being Timothy Reed, who took too much speed in. There are yellow flags at the corner for a reason, and these drivers realise here that there's no penalty for them slowing down, but at a circuit like this, which sometimes masquerades as a street circuit here, Craig, you have to respect them at the peril tarda because you've got no sight line on the historic layout.
And again, we've seen in the real world, you look at Valtteri Bottas having a crash, you look at other drivers having a crash. It's a tight line there. That's how tight it and sort of narrow the oval used to be around there. So you get to see it. I think with Mosquera, I know there's a little bit of a network connection issue there with the gap between the two of them. It was too fast. It was too fast. And again, how many GTPs have we seen today take the inside for the final two corners? I can count them on my hand. It's two, and one of them was Javi, and then you can see why it doesn't work.
Absolutely. So you have to pick and choose your moment, and now GTO looks like this at the front. Two clear, Friesen and Van Hicks. And I don't remember the last time Ilka Cotasalo was on a podium out there in a race here, Craig. I wonder if that's one you can look at through the stat hub. But I look at Cotasalo, he is having a blinder.
Yeah, he really is taking advantage. Well, he's taking good advantage of some of the things that have happened out there today, and I don't blame him. You've got to look at that and just go, okay, fair enough. You've got to make it. You also got to see as well, give a shout out as well to Josephine Becker trying to fight on. I am looking at these podiums. Give a shout out to Brendan Lim for creating this place. Don't see any podiums on this, but get back to me. We'll try and work that out.
Well, it's going to be not today, Ian, as the pass goes through from Josephine Becker. She comfortably dispatches the pass then in the spirited away Audi Quattro, as Haycox now will deal with Javi Del Olmo, who's a lap or two down behind, or in fact a lap or six down at the moment behind, trying to go through. Jacob Reed's going to have to piece his way by both of them here. Moves to the inside. Comfortably will get the clearance sorted, and Ian, very wise to it, isn't going to have too much trouble then running through at the peril tarda. So there's your leader, 8.6 seconds. Let's go look back at the replay.
Yeah, let's look at this, and this is Kundelis as well. He's coming on by, and this is it. Oh, he hits the wall. I apologize. Javi Mosquera hit the wall there. I did say at the start that, were we going to have an issue? No time for Alex to make a response. He did everything he could to avoid, and then it just started as a concertina out there, and that's so unfortunate for all the drivers. And as Jacob Reed goes by. By the way, I have looked now, Jake. I've got to get my eyes tested again. Igor Cotasalo does not have a podium ever on broadcast.
Well, this could be a first time, but this is a driver who somehow might find a way to salvage it. Noel Lundberg is up to 6th place. How on earth can a driver of this driver's quality, Craig, be backwards on the opening lap, down in 15th place through the early stages, at the halfway stage be in P6 and still have a podium on the cards? This man is pretty much as eternal as it gets.
He's got to find another 5 seconds if he wants to get to Ika Costa-Salo, but also got to get through Jack Wells and then Cal Young before that.
Oh, he'll find it.
He'll find it. He'll find it. I'll tell you what, he could be careful he's not going to lose this, because Cal Young, look at the overspeed. And this is overspeed. We talk about the altitude here, Jay, and we talk about how it affects the power. I have never seen slipstream this strong before in an Audi GTO. And you and I have been doing this series for quite a while now. I've never seen such drag on a straight in a GTO before.
Look, you've got to remember, as we watch here, Schwebig losing out the place to Timothy Reed here, that because they are down on power here, Craig, the slipstream becomes more important. It becomes more powerful because you see it with Skip Barbers, you see it with MX-5. When you've got the slipstream to help you, you've got a way then to make it happen as well. Be 3 wide to Moises Solana. Power, Vaughan, Schwebig, and it's Power who's got the line, but Vaughan at turn 2 will now hold the line. 3 is back in the favour of Power. Schwebig looking for a line now to sort things out at halfway, but for the moment, it's now the inside is tantamount on the Transera. Round the outside will try Timothy, and he will look for the drive off the exit. He won't get it. Seamus, all power, all poise.
I wish it was Seamus. It was Farron Grau, actually. But what's crucial is Farron's got the clean car. Yeah, Farron. Seamus just did make a move on Shadi Mad, and all due fairness, Farron's got the clean car. Look at the damage on the back of Timothy Vaughan's car. Look at the damage on the side of Henning Schwebig's car. And that just goes to show how tough it is out there. Actually, Shadi Mad is in the pit. Yeah, Mad's into the pit. He's broken something. Oh, he's got no front.
He's done it, coming out the S's here. He caught behind Javi Del Olmo and Ian Haycox, and then trying to get out of the speed. He's had a snap wiggle going over the curb and into the Tech Pro barrier. Has gone Shadi Ahmad, and that can't get any more left hand down.
No, and remember that there's ovals which turn right here for some reason, not left like in America. So that's going to hurt as well. But give him some credit. He lost the car. He didn't try to just force his way through. Even though Javier Del Olmo stick claps down from the leaders, he saw the GTOs. He was not getting involved. He allowed that car to, well, he didn't allow it, but you get what I mean when I say he allowed that car to crash. He would have rather taken his own life than taken other cars' lives. And 3/10 of the gap between these two, it's too far away for an advantage for Van Hicks to go. We've just hit the halfway stage, and I feel like we've seen an hour-long, we're halfway through an hour-long race. It's been absolute classic IMSA Vintage today.
It has been as tough as it gets. There's a battle for the lead here in GTO. Behind them, about to chase them, the battle for second in GTP as Martinez and Raul Rosses go at it. Jack Wells now has lost that 6th place, and that is now a top 5 for Noel Loomberg, getting the pass done. He'll have Cotasalo and Young to catch now in the second half of this race. Into turn 4 they go, and give a shout to Taylor Ballant here today. Has done nothing wrong, has kept it quiet. He's in P7, and he has had himself a day in the number 25.
Not bad for one of the lowest iRacing cars as well in the race, and got to give a shout out to him for actually just being there. Linus as well behind, up for 3 places in 8. Not bad as well, but we've got to get back to this. I wonder if that has actually hindered some of the drivers here. Gabri does have a little bit of scuffs on the side of the car, but it's not affecting the downforce. What it is affecting, though, is the fact that he is getting harassed by Raul Rashid. And if I can just think as we go onto the 007 camera, late for the braking, no. I feel on a slipstream track, I've seen it before in other series. You mentioned the Skip Barbers before, Jay. If there's any man that knows how to work a slipstream track, it's Raul Rashid. He's got that expertise thanks to the Skip Barbers.
Oh, he certainly does, and so he will be one of the more tactically minded as they approach here turn 4 out of the Transera. They avoid all the corners down on the far end of this circuit, straight into the S's, and this is where you get the buckets of dirty air. They're already 10 seconds off the leader, Jacob Reed. He's gone. They'll have to hope that he runs into lap traffic troubles to hope they can get a victory in mind as they go. But right now, I think Raul can bide his time here. He's got 17 minutes to construct a pass rather than 7 seconds.
Yeah, look at him carry more speed through the corner before he goes for an opportunity to go, but it is hindered him. And sometimes fast it into the corner is not quicker than slow it into the corner. So I do wonder if that has hindered him. Fabian Youngblood's going to give a bit of a tow. Gave a tow to Gabri, though. So they have 19, almost 20 seconds to work with here. They've got the ability to basically go side by side for about 4 laps in a row before traffic hits them. So they know that this is their battle right now. And also, just a shout out, Josh Brain losing connection. He's gone into the pit. That's a big hit for him. He was having a good day out there.
It was tough. He's been turned around a couple times as well. So Josh finds out that this is the toughest day at the office. Rosses now holding himself steady in 3rd place. Seamus Power a full 20 seconds behind these drivers. GTP today, Craig, has pretty much shown where the pace levels are. There's Jacob Reed in Uber tier. In tier 1, it's Martinez and Guardia, and everyone else is sat on table 500.
I don't even think table 500 at the moment. This pace is just ridiculous. Like, Gabri is in the 108s. That's great. Gabri's in the 108s. Jacob is almost kissing 107. Like, even there, with Gabri doing a really respectable 108.6, same with Guardia, Jacob's done a 108.2. Like, that is the nature there. You add 4 tenths on and on and on. What? 2 laps into the race, Jacob was almost 2 seconds in the lead. It was almost like a Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton dominating after 2 laps in 2015, and everyone going, well, that's that done, because everyone's just going to have to battle for the rest of the positions.
Well, race for P1 done and dusted. Everyone else now put on notice with the way that they're going about business. Ross says still unable to really make much headway here on the straights, and this section is where Gabri Martinez is able to just extend the margin. There's nothing really Raul can do. He's spending all the time on the Ovale, on the Principale, on the run of the Trancera to try and get that gap back in. Mickey's still got his battle out there at the front of the field with Joran van Hicks. That's half a second right now. They'll wait. There's also the battle for 4th overall in GTO because Noel has got phasers locked on Ilka Cottasalo in the 10.
Yeah, Ilka's not had a good run ever since he lost that P3 to Cao Young. Had a couple of moments and unfortunately had to just give up a few positions. And there is Lundberg, and what a drive this would be. If he gets this, he'll be 3.5 seconds, yes, 3.5 seconds away from Cao Young. Ilka's taking a different line. I think he's got washed out a little bit there. Also just having to watch out for Ferran Grau coming on by, and then Timothy Vaughan is, well, give a shout out to Timothy with that damage. Look at that damage on the back of that car, and he's still hanging with Ferran Grau. This is going to help Cottasalo, though. Not a lot Noel can do if Cottasalo's getting a double toe.
Well, there's a lot of zeal right now for Timothy Vaughan in the New Zealand car, and Henning Schwebig is going to now lunge down the inside, trying to stay in range, because that's Carlos Peralta just behind, who, remember, didn't set a time in qualifying, and is now trying to open up a 7th place as they go. So just about enough progress finding itself in mind. They will head themselves then off of the Trancera and into turn number 4, and the clearance needed off the exit is close, but Schwebig's not going to get it. And Cottasalo, I don't blame him in this situation. I dare not move, not through this section, be as predictable as I can, let these drivers go, because I know that when I get back onto the power, I've gained half a second.
Yeah, real good there. Lundberg got held up by Schwebig going into the Estes, so that allowed Cottasalo to have a little bit of a breather after what happened last time, as we've got 2 battles now just happening, as Peralta just washing out a little bit, trying to battle Henning Schwebig right behind these guys. There they are. Schwebig has to do a little bit of lift for Cao Young. That's going to help Peralta. Schwebig's already got damage there, and that's not a lot. Give a shout out to Carlos. He might be 52nd behind Jacob Reed, but even at the back of the field, he's not stopped, and he's made overtakes just on his ability to make those moves and keep that pace going.
Oh, Ross is in the wall. Raul Rosses is in the wall, backwards, going through the S's, and it's all on his own. He's looped it exactly the same way we saw it before, and bang, Raul Rosses, from what looked like a surefire podium, is out.
Yeah, watch this again. And I think what it was, he hits this curb here, and the car just upsets. And when the moment you start pogoing on this car, the grip is gone. It's almost got a ground effect downforce system, like what you see in the Lotus 79s. And the moment that was going, the car was not happy. And he's straight in there. And give a shout out That means Carlos Peralta is up to P6 now after that moment.
It means Seamus Power, who started 7th on the grid, is now on the podium. And Timothy Vaughan, in this scrap here with Ferran Grau, is going at this for 4th position on the road. They have cleared the leaders in GTO. Now they will make the charge through. They've got Fabian Youngblood just in front on the brakes, but Grau, I think, has got the clearance here over Timothy Vaughan, who will just lift off, wait, give a bit of gap, and then attack later on. Schwebig loses out to Peralta, who's now got the clearance then along the main straight. Van Hicks still holding himself steady with Mickey Friesen just in front. Vaughan looking at the clearance now here along the Transera. Underneath the bridge is pretty much where you want the braking marker, and you're just trying to find the coverage. Just a little wide there by Ferran, but he can grab back for the apex then at turn 5, and that covers the opportunity. Doesn't absolve the poor turn 4, but it covers it up.
Yeah, it covers it up enough, and as you start to see as the drivers... Oh, no, he's gone!
Right.
Timothy's gone as well! That's the 3rd GTP, and the 4th driver overall, because Josh Brain, just after what happened to Guardia in the GTOs, did the same thing. All that work Timothy has done with that broken wing has just been blown away, and we've got to talk about it. That's still Peralta in 5th. Schwebby goes up, Mascara goes up. This is crazy. Just 8 GTPs are still driving.
Only the 8, and they are finding out how tough this is. And we said it's going to feel like a bull ring today. You're not going to have, even though you've got these long stretches, long times to wait and rest. This is going to be a car where the middle sector, the laps come thick and fast and frequent, and you have to be switched on for everyone. Lundberg just trying to dip the tyres in the grass slightly there as he gets the line slightly out of kilter. Will move into turn number 1. Ilka Kottasalo here. This is the ultimate. I've caught him. I can't find a way by.
Last time he struggled with lap traffic, and then he also struggled with getting the power down. What's he going to do now as he comes into this national corner?
Got it.
He comes into the hairpin. He's got it in. He had to just lock the brakes a little bit. I saw a quick puff of smoke there, but got it done. Cottosalo also giving the respect as well. He tried to fight that as much as he can, but he realizes that's the champion. That's the champion I'm battling. I don't want to make any issues for him because he is on a run, and he is still only 4 seconds behind Cao Young with 9 minutes to go. Don't call it a comeback. He is lapping half a second faster than Cao Young.
Yeah, and say this here as you watch Jacob Reed dance after the exit of the Peraltada and now work his way along the main stretch. Joran van Hicks, I don't think has been, I would say, wanting to make the pass. I think Joran van Hicks realises what today's race is, what the margin is all about, and he knows that his race, knowing the pace of Cao Young, the pace of Noel Lundberg behind, is give yourself a ticket for a fight for P1 or P2. Don't do anything silly now and make it 3rd, 4th, 5th, infinite.
But also, let's talk about the championship. It may only be round 3. Let's talk about the championship. You know that Noel Lundberg is 4th. This may be a drop week for him. We're watching Roman Bello having a little bit of a lunge on Linus Petrovikas. But let's get back to this conversation. Kundelis isn't getting points today. That's a drop round. Lundberg is in 4th. Cottosalo is now struggling down in 5th. The only person who's going to be getting points on him today would be Mickey Friesen. If he wants to make this move, he doesn't have to at the moment, and Mickey is just going to accept that he may be in the victory. Van Hicks is going to accept the P2. Roman Bello is going to accept that he has to try and go around the outside to make this work, and Linus has to give up, and credit to Linus. This is the first time we've seen him in a while, and he's really driving the socks off that car.
He's doing everything he can to try and hold it steady. Roman Bello just doing a wonderful job there, the Frenchman, of planting it where it's needed. So Pet Cavicius will now sit down and go, yeah, I tried what I could. I can't really say no. But Joram now wakes up, smells a bit of coffee and says, I want it. Outsider 2 will give insider 3. He now commands the apex through the middle. They'll lean on each other, but the drive is still again Mickey Friesen at this stage. And this is where you say 7 minutes, 8 seconds to go. It's gloves off time. It's knuckle dusters on.
Knuckle dusters are on the outside there for the first part of the S's is favorable to drivers. That's why you saw Mickey able to hold that, because he gets the better line through that final part that just tightens up. And Van Hicks did try to make that move, wasn't going to. Now Gabriel Martinez right behind. What's Gabriel going to do? Just going to wait for the opportunity, and does so. Gets on by. That's going to help. That's actually going to help Friesen. Just a quick moment there, and then it's going to hinder him. Hits the dirty air, and he knows it. Just keeping patient a little bit. Hang on, has he overdone this? I think he just overcooked it a bit. A lot of understeer there. This is up for the taking now for Van Hicks.
It is, and now this long straight, look at the difference maker that this is going to be. Hasta pronto, it says on the front. Now you get the difference, and it's about 5 kilometers an hour already. Here's the move to the inside by Joran Van Hicks. He'll get fully alongside, he'll command the apex, but he's earlier on the brakes than Mickey Friesen. Mickey can't do anything about it. Joram just runs it out deep. Has to open the steering through the middle of the corner, because Mickey was getting a little bit cheeky with how deep he was going to go through, and it has to be covered off the exit. Mickey again to the outside. Joran Van Hicks having to throw what he can at the wall, hoping it sticks. Mickey Friesen is using every trick in the Sim Racer's hand guide to try and hold it. Still side by side out of 4. Long ways around 5 it will have to be. Joram! Oh, what a pass!
Brilliant from Joram. Mickey had nothing left there as the outside just started working better. The grip was there for Van Hicks. Is that a slowdown? No, he's able to just hold on to that. He's going to be happy with that. They're battling, and I'll tell you the key thing as well. They didn't lose a lot of time to Cao Young last time. They've not been losing a lot of time to Cao Young this time. What has Mickey got? That all started from this corner, and now Van Hicks is doing it. And I wonder if they're going to start IndyCaring this final corner here, Jake. You know what I mean. They're going to be looking for clean air through that corner, because all of a sudden the dirty air is really showing its presence.
And so will the tyre wear on the front. They will be scrubbing, and they'll need everything they can. Mickey Friesen gets wide in the mirrors and can't find a way with 4:50 left on the clock. And you'll be looking around and saying, how many times are you going to find a move? You can try it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times and hope that it's going to work, but it's not at the moment. It just hasn't. And now you look at Mickey Friesen. He's now sat and poised, and I wonder whether it was a bait to get it done. Big inside front lock up there from Joran Van Hicks, and that's showing the pressure.
Yeah, the pressure cooker had been turned on right now, and Mickey was able to take that smooth around that corner, able to just keep it calm. Keep those tires not under too much stress. Track temp is still 32 Celsius, 90 Fahrenheit. So it's got a little bit cooler out there just by a degree. So it's still a warm track temp out there. And that's also going to be hindering. Now watch again. I thought I just saw Van Hicks with a cheeky kiss at the inside wall there. But Mickey's right on at the back there because of that moment. And if he's got a chance to retake the lead, they're about to start lap 30. I think they're going to have 2 more laps to go. Yeah, look at the defense. I think this is wrong from Van Hicks.
Yeah, here comes the move. Carlos Peralta, by the way, out of this race, but Joran Van Hicks is not giving it up. Mickey Friesen beats him on the brakes into turn 1. He's still halfway alongside, but Mickey Friesen's got the line, and Joran Van Hicks is going to have to really work hard to try and get this sorted. Mickey knows he's not going to get clearance here, and if they're going to scrap this hard, they're going to have to need help behind. 3:17 left here in this one. It's covered into turn 4, but Joran Van Hicks is not giving this one up.
Not giving this one up either. And I've just looked as well. Cotasalo's just lost out here. This is Carlos Peralta. Oh, he's gone into the back there. And in all due fairness, that's the line we've been talking about the GTP's take today. And I think he just got caught out by one, just getting a little bit worn out there. And you mentioned it, Jake. That's tyre wear. They've lost the grip there, and they're starting to just really go out wide.
Yeah, and they are really finding that this is a struggle. This is a hard-fought battle, and they know that that long corner puts super excessive wear. For these drivers now, they will sit probably on about 2 laps to go here in this race. 3, it depends where Jacob Reed finds himself. He's on the Ovale. By comparison, Noel Lundberg still fighting with Cotasalo, who's back up into that 4th position. So Noel can't get the clearance that he's needed here, and he's going to need some help down into turn 1. It might come in the form of Ferran Grau, who's going to go breezing by the pair of them on the brakes. Noel gets his pass, but now Cotasalo can start lining this up.
Yeah, Noel Lundberg, he lost it due to a slowdown at the S's last time by. And it's going to help him as well because Cal Young's just had to serve a slowdown, as is Seamus Power having to serve a slowdown as well. So Cal losing a bit of time. Baron Grau just ahead of Lundberg. There he is on the grass. Just be careful rejoining. We don't want another bad rejoin, but Grau just slows it down. He's got nothing to fight for at the moment. He gets on by. Lundberg now wants to try and extend. The gap is 4 seconds with 1:30 to go. Hate to say it, I think Lundberg's going to have to accept P4.
He might just have to here, and these drivers know that as it stands, they're on 2 laps to go as they work through. Joram Van Hicks will realise now that he has got to get himself close and find a way, anyway, to get himself the clearance needed to make this his out there at the moment. He is looking around at the likes of Mickey Friesen, and he's just not given the opportunity quite the way he needs to. This is about who's managed it compared to the other, who has run this race perfect compared to the other.
Yeah, you can notice as well, when they're just hitting the braking there, the lead car is struggling. They're hitting the brakes too much. They're locking the brakes. They're putting wear on, and even more lockups there going into the corner from Friesen. And now Van Hicks can almost bump him through the S's right now as he goes on through. Jacob Reed, he's on the final lap of the race. He probably won't catch these drivers.
No.
That's going to be handy for these guys. That's going to be big.
It's going to be everything in this because it gives them another lap now to think about how they go. Joram Van Hicks will have the chance on the Principale to go and make this move. He's in a perfect place as they head towards the Peraltada for their penultimate time in this one. Joram hugging the back of Mickey Friesen's boxer neutrals like a cuddly toy. But this driver has been simply put unstoppable as he just blitzes by Noel Lundberg. Jacob Reed has just shown a masterclass as they go. He wins here at the Ultramar. Manos Rodriguez! Oh my goodness, there's almost contact. Mickey Friesen and Joram Van Hicks almost spin across each other through the opening corners. Now into turn 2 and 3. Out to the Moises Solana. Friesen gets the drive again. And Joram Van Hicks now is going to be running out of opportunities. It will have to be here at turn 4. The last great place, some would say, to make it happen. Long road. It's going to have to be round the outside. Still a little bit of contact. Still Joram Van Hicks tries. Can he hold the line off with Mickey Friesen? Mickey's got the run now through 6 into 7. Still they don't give up through the S's. Sensational stuff between these two. Now an 8 and 9 lock up. Contact again, and it will be a take of the slowdown then surely by Joram Van Hicks, and he'll have to be so choice the way he serves this compared to Mickey Friesen now as he hits the brakes for the Peraltada. How choice is the slowdown? Can he get it covered late, or is he going to have to choose to win it on track? He serves it. Mickey's going to take the win, but Joram Van Hicks, oh, that's going to sting. That one was supposed to be for his mum, and Mickey has stolen it from him.
That was hard racing. They were giving each other the space they needed to, but the space, they were trying to take the same piece there. And that was Van Hicks unfortunate there. He took the big slow down there. He took the right slow down, but it was way too much there. And he is just, that is heartache. Friesen gets the victory, yes. Lundberg does get the P4, by the way, for Cotasalo. But what a battle those two had until that moment.
It was simply put an epic, a true trilogy of amazing racing out there from so many great drivers, but a day in which it has to be talked about in a realm of dominance. 40 minutes and 9 seconds. Jacob Reed will get it done in the first race of IMSA Vintage in 2026, a winning margin of 16.5 seconds to start it off right from Gabri Martinez. Seamus Power will find himself on the podium, and just the 4 on the leading lap as Ferran Grau would find himself there. Henning Schwebig, Javi Mosquera and Timothy Vaughan are 5th, 6th and 7th, with Carlos Peralta, the first retiree, 6 laps down, would join Brendan Lim, who would be a finisher at 6 laps down, and Raul Rosses Guardia, who would be 8 laps adrift and retired. The last driver in the group, Shadi Ahmad, in the number 20, the South African, down in 18 laps adrift.
Well, the GTOs, that was interesting in the GTOs. Mickey Friesen takes the victory in a tense one with Van Hick. 2.4 seconds does not show how close it was out there. The slowdown cost the victory there for Van Hick. Carl Young will get that P3. And what a fantastic comeback for Noah Lundberg. He started third. He was backwards after turn one. He finishes in fourth. Iker Costasalo will be in fifth with Jack Wells in sixth. Taylor Burnett will be in seventh with Josephine Becker in eighth. Linus Pekavikas will be in ninth. Roman Bello will be in 10th. And then we have two more drivers still on that de facto lead. Lappy and Haycox in 11th. Silver Yofert in 12th. And Fabian Jumblov had to take a pit stop for repairs in 13th. Josh Brain, connection issues in 14th. Javier Del Olmo crashed out early, tried to get back out there, got crashed again in 15th. And then the three cars were retired at the start of the race. Arturus Gundalis, Alex Zott, and Timothy Reed. That's where they officially are classified.
And so, with all those drivers dealt with and done and dusted, we'll have a chance to chat with some of our drivers. Mickey Friesen is here with us right now. A race win at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. But Mickey, while you had all the pace out there here today, it was by no means an easy race to try and make it happen. You and Joram got the gap built and then had to start figuring out, where do I want to be heading on the final lap?
Yeah, that was I think the top probably 4 or 5, maybe 6, we all kind of had close to the same pace. And with traffic, at one point in the traffic, we had like a 2-second gap, and Joram waited instead of trying to pass me on the front straight, and took it easy for a lap or two, which let us build up a gap. But then once we had that gap, it was stressful every lap.
You can certainly imagine these GTOs are certainly proven to be very tough when it comes to taking the corners. They take one line, and however it comes along, the GTPs have to dance through. A lot of drama around you, but not necessarily with you at the front. How did you find the GTPs trying to get by? Because corners like the Peraltada, I think are nightmare corners. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, there's a couple corners that are really difficult for both classes trying to navigate, because obviously the GTPs don't want to lose time, and we're trying to facilitate so that we lose the least amount of time. And there was maybe 1 or 2 instances early that I felt like I lost a decent amount of time, and then later in the race it kind of went more my way, and kind of hindered Joram. So surprisingly not too bad, I think, thanks to the only 11 car GTP field.
Let's talk about that final lap, because a few laps earlier, with 10 minutes to go, Joram did exactly the move that you did on the final lap, round the outside of you at turn 5, and then that led to his advantage through the S's. Talk us through trying to get that sorted and the locked brake at 8.
Yeah, I mean, starting back at turn 1, I was trying to pinch Joram to the inside, and we had a little bit of contact, which kind of threw me off my line, and I ended up taking a slowdown through that first chicane, which is why I was so slow going into that I think turn 4 on the inside, and then there was a little bit of contact there. I think little bit of harder racing. I'll have to look at it again to see if I took too much space, but harder racing, it was a lot of fun.
Right, very quickly, 1 week from today, round 4 of the championship, Monza with no first chicane. How will that throw down as a gauntlet for you?
It's Monza, so it's always chaos. Maybe I'll have the same luck as this week, because I just learned this track yesterday, and I'll be out of town, so I won't be back until the Saturday race for next week. I might maybe Friday, but it'll be minimal practice again next week.
You heard it here first. Mickey's partying all week before Monza. Mickey Friesen there joining us, having a wonderful race today and winning it here from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Craig King has wandered down the virtual paddock. He's found a P3 driver, and that is Seamus Power.
Seamus, P3, were you probably not expecting that, especially with 11-car grid? That's going to be a little bit of a surprise with how stacked the field was today.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of just stumbled through the garage and ended up in the winner's circle somehow. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm sure people got into incidents and stuff, especially with this high of a strength of field. Nissan set though, I was expecting to be towards the end, and kind of stumbled my way onto the podium, it seems.
Well, if you're stumbling, I might need to do a sobriety test on you, so we'll just have to get the marshals to look at that for you in a moment. But we got to talk about the racing out there, because it looked very tense, and I know some drivers had some damage. You had to try and pick up the scraps through some of them. There was a moment early in the race, I think it was Henning Swebeg, that you had to do some avoiding factor in. It looked very close out there. I think you may have just avoided death.
Yeah, I think it was when him and Timothy got together. I got front end damage out of it, so I think that's another thing of why I was surprised to somehow end up in P3, was running like at least a second down on my usual lap times, and having front end damage through that twisty middle section is kind of rough. But somehow managed to make my way through it, and got a bit lucky with traffic, I think, but also kind of paced myself to try not to overdrive and just kind of see where the car ends up. And people seem to have more trouble than I did after that during the race, and somehow ended up with the P3.
Yeah, let's talk about the traffic, though, because we've had the view from a GTO driver. It's only fair to have the view of the GTP driver. Less traffic for you, less cars to race against for you, but more cars to get around. It wasn't the big 55 grid that people wanted, but 18 GTOs on a track this tight. The S's looked very treacherous for some of them out there, but it looked a very narrow track to be trying to make some moves.
Yeah, it's tough as well, because with the altitude, the Nissan kind of loses out on its mid-speed grip. So that twisty middle section, really, I kind of personally, I only have like one overtaking spot really in the middle of it, which is kind of around the outside before the final sort of mini kink, to try and just let the Audis have enough room to maneuver. But otherwise, I mean, no, there's not really. I mean, there's a couple of long straights, sure, but because a lot of people are kind of trimmed out towards, I think at least lower wings, the Audis kind of hold their pace on the straight, so that can make it a bit tough as well to pass. But otherwise, I think some of the tighter sections, the first kind of chicane and that hairpin before that middle section, it's kind of, I don't know. For me, it's like a big warning sign saying don't overtake the Audis here. So I think it kind of helped in that front that this is my first time racing at this track, or this week, I should say. So it was an interesting experience, and I'm sure if you were really pushing it, really fighting it, that some of the Audis would really kind of fight back with you, traffic wise. But yeah, thankfully for me, because I kind of was on an island by myself, I just let things go, and again ended up with a really positive result.
Before we let you go, just very quickly, next week, Monza, throw out the first chicane. Your thoughts?
Oh, I'm not a Monza fan. Without the first chicane makes things a bit better. But I'm not a huge fan. It's basically a draft track, and I'm not a huge fan of draft tracks. I'll show up. We'll see what happens. I don't expect to really have much, but hey, if I can get a podium today after all that, then we'll see what can happen next week.
That was Seamus Power. Seamus, congratulations today. And by the sounds of it, we may see you back on the podium next week if it's going to be a similar race. Seamus Power finishing in third today, Jake. And that is going to be it. I might join him for a Guinness if he's been stumbling around.
Well, I think he'll be very happy, and the celebrations will go long on into the evening over with Seamus Power and, of course, with Mickey Friesen, who's going all week, by the way. Next week will be our next racing action for IMSA Vintage. You can catch that with us, as we said, from the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, and we are foregoing the Retafilo, so it's straight into the Biasino and over to the Della Roggia at turns 2 and 3. You can catch that with us January 10th at 5 p.m. UTC. That is 12 p.m. Eastern for those who want to jump in and see the fastest cars in the fastest track that racing can offer. We've also got a wonderful team that has brought this show over to you, from Craig King, who has been alongside me, from Christian Deploy, who has been director of this show, and Dougie Beard, whose cameras have been excellent, that you've been seeing as part of a Genesis Extreme production here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. My name is Jake Sperry. In terms of the week in its full entirety, you've got Classic Lotus Grand Prix, which will be heading to you tomorrow with Joe Peak and Jeremy Scott from Road America. Skip Barber's race series will take the French challenge of Lebanon, a free track here on iRacing to get yourself up to speed. Grand Prix Legends will be jumping in at Snetterton, and the return of the Sim Racing Republic, because on Saturday, that at 4:25 UTC, they will head to Mazzano Marco Simoncelli for racing action there as our endurance season kicks off here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. But it's dominance for Jacob Reed. We just knew he would, the way that he broke away and said to everyone else, come catch me. I know you can't. But today, it was about one driver who had destiny all on his side, and one locked break took it away from him, and it wasn't even his own. Unlucky Yoram, you know that you'll get your win next time. It's Mickey's to say mine at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
This is iRacing.